Okay, happy Tuesday, everybody. This is Rick Bosley, and doing another series of the Meet the Mega Agents. And I love this because I am able to talk with some top talents out there in the country. And every Tuesday night from 5 to 6 o'clock Eastern, we're going to be doing this, talking to top talent from across the country, whether it's in wealth building, whether it's in technology, ownership. Upcoming weeks, I'm going to have Lori Ballin on, Jackie Ellis, who's the #7 team in the country for Keller Williams, Aaron Kaufman, who's the #1 recruiter for Keller Williams International. So keep an eye. And once you've registered for this once, you'll be able to register it for here on out. So you're good to go. So tonight, very excited, and I know you briefly, and we've got to get to know each other in the last couple of weeks more, speaking with J Michael Manley. So J Michael, this is a clip of obviously you up there on stage with Gary Keller last month. And this is one of the ones I found through the Google. And up there on stage, you had talked really about your internet lead generation cultivation. You were featured by Market Leader. You had a banner out. You were in the pamphlet and the flyer. Last year, you were on for your videos and how you're utilizing videos to cultivate leads. So I'm excited for that because that's everything, especially for me as a team leader, I can utilize, and also agents on there. So appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule and being 3 hours away from your house doing a training to jump on here tonight with us. How you doing?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Fantastic. So before we get into it, because I know we've got a lot of meat we want to cover, and you've got some handouts you're going to give to us, I would love to get to know you as far as how long you've been in real estate, what your goals have been, what your goals are now, so you really get to know you, the realtor, before your systems.
So I started in real estate back in 2003. I actually owned a foreclosure management company before I got in real estate, and cleaned foreclosures out and got them ready for sale. And had lost a major company back in 2003. One of my major clients had merged with another bank, and so it kind of put me out of the business. And so I got in real estate at that point and started, working real estate, doing real estate, and was actually what I consider a real estate agent, not really a business owner at that point. Then when the market started to shift, it kind of shifted on me. And so from there, we were living with my mother and father-in-law. We were struggling. I mean, we were doing all we could just to meet the bills, and sometimes not even that.
When you say we, is your wife in business with you?
Yes, she is now. She actually was working for another company at that point. She had started in real estate. When the market shifted, she was smart back at that point. She was like, I cannot work in this business with you as we go through this. And looking back on that, I'm glad she didn't, because I was not prepared to go through the shift myself. And so it really hurt us. Had we not had her in a regular job, it would not have been good for us. Now, looking back on that now, we have now steadied the ship. We've now put her back on. She works with us again, and she's our closing coordinator, and she makes sure that everybody gets to the closing table.
Fantastic. So when you did that, was that out of necessity? Did you recruit a selector? Was she a perfect fit, or did you hire and get in partnership with her out of sort of a crisis and necessity?
A little bit of both. We had recruited a selector. She had done her ABA. We've got her disc. She is a match. So we felt pretty comfortable doing that we knew that she was. I didn't have to call her references. That's one thing I didn't do in the recruit select process.
That's good. Yeah, it saved you some time.
Yeah.
So through that struggle, when did you finally get it? When did momentum start to happen and come about for your career?
So for me, looking back on it, it was 2010 as really a turning point for me. I had taken Bold for the first time January of 2010, was starting it, and had to take my car payment to pay for Bold because that's how we just didn't even have the money for Bold. And when the bank's calling you wanting their car back, failure is not an option kind of kicks in. And a lot of things can happen when failure is not an option. Mm-hmm. And so we at that point when failure was not an option, 3 weeks in, I was making my contacts. I was out there from Friday afternoon. I hadn't made all my contacts. Saturday morning, I was back in there making my contacts. And there were some days I was in there from 9 o'clock on Saturday to 4 o'clock on Saturday making my contacts, getting it done. And that's kind of what we did. We started I hate to say pounding the phones. We were fishing for people, sure. Hardcore.
Now, I'm going to
And so,
rewind just so I can connect the dots. 2003 got into business. 2010 finally started to gain momentum after rock bottom. What did you do for those 7 years?
so I'd had some success as an individual agent. No assistance. I'd sold my second year in real estate. I sold 42 houses, no assistance, that kind of thing. I changed companies to another traditional company. My third year, I sold 33 houses that year, 32 the next, 42 the next, and then was going through some personal stuff right before the shift happened, and kind of put me. It was personally at a pretty much of a low at that point, and so we were at our lowest point. I sold 13 houses in 2008.
Mm. And then you switched over to Keller Williams 2009, you mentioned.
Yes.
Okay.
April 1st, 2009, my team leader actually was coaching me before I actually joined Keller Williams. He was coaching me, never asked me to join Keller Williams, never asked me to do anything. He's just like, what can I do for help? Straight up spirit of contribution. I mean, that was all. He was like, what can I do to help you?
Sure.
And so he helped me get back on the phones, started getting on the phones, just, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Michael Manley, Keller Williams Realty. Can I help you get your home? So great, fantastic, wonderful. You'd be fit if I just come out and take a look. Wouldn't be a good time for you. Got 1:30, 3:35, 30 appointment.
You said that before.
Yes, a few times.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And I just, we started building a little bit of momentum and started building a little bit more momentum. And so in 2009, I sold 22 houses in 2009. So we're starting to get our feet back on the ground. However, we had dug a pretty big hole at that point.
You still there?
I am.
Gotcha. Okay. So you dug a pretty big hole, financially, personal debt. That's when you said you had come to Bold. Because I wanted to respect the time of everything and really you got a lot of meat, fast forward, you went to Bold, and that's when you had the turning point. So what does the turning point look? Because somebody might argue that selling 25 to 35 homes a year is a healthy living. So tell us about your business now since 2010.
So since 2010, so April 1st, 2009 was my first year, was my first day at Keller Williams. So April 1st, 2010 rolled around, I had not capped. So I had not even sold $2 million worth of real estate. Mm-hmm. Then September 28th, 2010, while I was at Mega Camp, I capped. So I had a little bit of profit. Everyone that was on stage was saying, you got to have this internet lead generation site, you got to have an internet lead generation site, you got to have an internet lead generation site. I was like, okay, so I guess I need to have an internet lead generation site.
Sure.
And then there was another gentleman on stage, Adam Hergenrother, and I've told this story many times. He's sitting on stage. He wasn't even sitting up in the chair. He was just kind of laid back, and had white patent leather shoes, white patent leather belt on, and had a Nike belt buckle on that was like, it seemed like it was as big as my head back then. And he's 27 years old, and he's crushing it. And he kept saying, yeah, I don't sell real estate. I own a business that sells real estate. Mm. And that was I really brought that back, that I own a business. And it's time to start running it as a business. And so at that point, it was really time to make a shift. So really Bold kind of got me back in the mix, got my mindset back right, that kind of thing. And then from there, really kind of seeing other people do it and seeing what the other people were doing kind of helped me get back in there the last little bit to keep me going forward.
What was his name again?
Adam Hergenrother. He's out of Vermont. Keller Williams agent out of Vermont.
Okay.
So, and a lot of people ask me, what was it? What was it that brought you back around? And I've done a lot of soul searching on that. And I think in 2009, I really, really gained one, clarity of my situation. Knowing where you're actually at. There's other people out there that were struggling a lot harder than we were. And so really gaining clarity of where I was at. I had not, was not in jail, was not dead, was not in the hospital. I had full capability to go out there and make it happen. So gaining clarity on that, and then gaining perspective of what was actually available out there in the market. In 2009, in our MLS, we had 7,500 transactions. So I took that number and doubled it, and I said, so all right, so there's 7,500 transactions, so that means there's 15,000 opportunities for a realtor to earn business in what is considered one of the worst markets out there ever.
Yep.
And so 15,000 opportunities, and I used the analogies. I said, if I owned a toilet paper company and didn't have 1% of the business, I would be fighting to get to 1% of that toilet paper business with everything I had.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we did. We just fought to get to 1% of the business at that point, which would have been 150 transactions. As of right now, pending and closed so far for 2013, we are sitting at 151 transactions.
Awesome. Congratulations. So
looking at that, 2010 or 2011, we sold 55 homes. 2012, we sold 85 homes. It was $13.7 million at 85 homes. This year, we're sitting at 151 homes, and for the year, pending and closed right now, and the out of those, we're sitting at $25.5 million.
Year to date. So you're going to finish over 30 to 35.
We better.
Fantastic. So you've become the market leader. You've become the internet lead generator. You've become the video production because everyone said you need a website that generates these leads. So up on stage, talking to Gary Keller, and I think I wrote this quote down, you're cultivating and converting 5% of your cold internet leads. Does that sound right?
It's closer. I tell everybody to shoot for a 2% conversion ratio on a month-to-month basis.
Okay.
And I said take that on a rolling 6-month basis, really, because what happens is I think you've got to have people in the pipeline for the numbers to start working. And so, you know, everybody on stage back in 2011, even into 2012, we're talking about, you know, hey, we're converting at 10%. We're converting at 10%. And I was just beating my head against the wall, man. I was like, I'm doing every single thing they're telling me to do, and I am not converting at 10%. And it come to find out, their definition of a lead and my definition of a lead was not the same. I think most real estate agents out there, when they get a registration on their website, they consider that a lead.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are considering a lead only when they actually had talked to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so at that point, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so we're converting at 10% once we actually talk to them. And so it was a little bit of an aha moment that we are doing pretty well at converting these leads.
So the aha, you're hearing 10% beating yourself up, and once you actually said people who don't give you a Daffy Duck phone number and email address. So off of everybody, whether it's a fake, bogus, they don't return a phone call, you can count for every 50 names that register on your site, you will close one of them, 2%.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about that because Ben Kinney created the 10 Days of Pain, and you have evolved that to your own little flip and twist called the 21 Days of Gain. Can you share? I'm going to give you controller, and I would love for you just to share with myself, the panelists, everyone else here, what that looks like of what you're doing to get the conversions.
So I will say that, you know, on the 10 Days of Pain, I think the 10 Days of Pain is great. I will tell everybody that the 10 Days of Pain is great. Ben Kinney is awesome because had the 10 Days of Pain never been there, the 21 Days of Gain would have not come about.
Right.
So when we signed up in 2010, the only thing I knew was the 10 Days of Pain. And so we started running the 10 Days of Pain. And that's what we did. We just did it word for word. We didn't change a word. And, you know, it was a system. It was a system that I could work and I could teach to my agents, and that's what we did. We just ran it word for word.
It's a novel concept. Follow the model.
Yeah, I follow the model. That's exactly what we did. You know, it's almost like we had to have the 10 Days of Pain to build the foundation so that we could start tweaking it to make it a different type of foundation for us.
Sure.
So yeah, had the 10 Days of Pain not been there, the 21 Days of Gain would have never come about. So what happened was we were noticing for us here in the South, we were seeing a huge unsubscribe rate that was happening right around that day number 6. Mm-hmm. And I ascribe it, you know, if you had signed up on Amazon and gotten, you know, if you'd signed up for a listing alert on Amazon and Amazon had sent you an email and you'd gotten a listing alert every single day, by day number 6, you're sitting pretty close to 11 or 13 emails. 13 emails is a lot of emails to get in 6 days from anyone.
Right.
And so that's why we came up and we said, what can we do to change that so that we're not going to be causing these people to unsubscribe? And so we said, well, let's just take the 10 days of pain and let's just bust it up to every other day.
Okay.
So that every other day we send them one email. Now they still could be getting their listing alerts. And what we noticed is that our unsubscribe rate started going back down. And so that was a huge aha. It was like, you know, once these people unsubscribe, we can never market to them again through the site. So we need them to be there. And so that's why the 21 days came about. And then I was having my agents at first. They were sending the 10 days of pain themselves. And it was never meant to be painful for the clients. Ben Kinney never meant the 10 days of pain to be painful for the clients. However, mentally, I feel like my agents felt like they were imposing on the homeowners or the purchasers by sending this 10 days of pain. And so somebody had mentioned, you know, somebody said, well, 10 days of gain, and I was like, oh, I'd just gone through Bold, and I was like, oh, yes, we can use that. So we'll call it the 21 days of gain, and that's kind of how the 21 days of gain came about. And over the years, we've tweaked this to kind of help conversion and kind of really made it more personable and just adding little tweaks to kind of get more two-way conversations. So that's kind of how it come about. And so we can go through it now if you want to, if this is where you want to go through it.
Yeah, let's knock it out and let the conversation take it. I think it's led there, and as soon as I heard that, I wrote that down as one of my ahas because, again, running a market center, I run just a giant mega team. So this is something that not only can I help to bring to my other agents, bring people on the call, but also help me. So I'm intrigued as much as anybody else is. So I'd love to hear from you.
Okay. So this is our, if everybody can see this here, this is our web lead conversion checklist. And we have all these email templates that we're going to send you. The key, though, is that this is not an automatic drip campaign. There is nothing about this that's automatic, and I know that kind of makes people's hearts sink sometimes. However, if you're going to convert internet leads, I was teaching a class today, and I always teach, when I teach it, you know, 70% of real estate is done via referral.
Say that again, 70%?
70% of real estate is done via referral. So you've got Bob Smith. Let's say Bob Smith is in New Jersey and he wants to move to Greenville, South Carolina. And Bob Smith has a friend that lives in Greenville, South Carolina. And that friend that lives in Greenville, South Carolina refers Bob Smith to Sally Agent. Well, Sally Agent doesn't have that great of a website, so Bob Smith ends up registering on J Michael Manley's website. How is J Michael Manley going to convert Bob Smith when Bob Smith has been referred to Sally Agent by one of his buddies? And an automatic drip campaign is not going to make that happen. It's just not going to happen.
Sure.
You know, you've got to be bringing more value than Sally Agent if you're planning on converting it.
Yeah, I think it's an important point you bring up because eEdge and market leaders created this plug-and-play mindset where put them in a group, put them on a campaign, and watch the conversions come out. And then nobody ever gets that 16%. And I feel it's because there is a lot of a personal touch with direct mails and phone calls. And so it's created as this very, very basic and truly what you're doing of putting a personal touch via text, via phone call, or just a customized campaign truly gets those conversions different. So if you're out there, don't just take these campaigns for what they are. You have to customize it to be who you are.
Right. Well, you know, and the other part of that, too, is that I know a lot of people have the 33 touch campaigns set up on their eEdge, and I really would like to hear how many people out of that 33 touch campaign that have them set up on eEdge, how many people have actually done the quarterly phone calls to the people once they've set them up on the eEdge campaign. And my thought is from what I'm seeing around the country, it's pretty low.
Yep, I agree.
They put them on a 33 touch campaign, and they're like, whew, that's done, and then they kind of let them fall off the earth. So on day number 1, We've all heard of the Harvard Business Review article that's out there that says you've got to follow up on internet leads within 4 minutes if you're going to convert them.
Mm-hmm.
That is just not possible for us as real estate agents.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not feasible. You're in a listing appointment, or you're in a closing, or you're out showing property. You are not going to call those people back within 4 minutes. It's just not going to happen. So we had to take a realistic approach to that. And I know there's some people out there that have ISAs that call them back. However, are they calling them back at night? You know, is your ISA working 24 hours a day? No. So it's just not going to happen. So what we did is we said, what's the next best thing that we could do? So we asked our agents to call or respond immediately within 30 minutes. Right here. We wanted them to call or respond within 30 minutes. If they didn't get an answer, we would like for them to send a text within 30 minutes. Now,
do you leave a voicemail if no answer?
Yes, we do leave a voicemail if there's no answer.
Okay.
And that voicemail is a very simple voicemail. It's not a call to action voicemail. It's strictly a customer service voicemail. Hey, this is Michael Manley with Keller Williams Realty and the Greater Greenville Area Homes.com. I just wanted to say thank you for registering on my website, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you next. That's it.
Got it.
Okay? All right, so the text message. What we tell our agents is to save this text message on your phone. You go into your notes on an iPhone or your notepad section on an Android phone. You type out this text message and you save it so that when a lead comes into your phone, you can send a text. And on an iPhone, you can do this in 18 seconds. You can go in, copy that script, paste it into your text message, and send it within 18 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And it just says, hey, this is J Michael Manley. Thank you for registering on GreaterGreenvilleAreaHomes.com. I'm out showing property right now. As soon as I get back to the office, I'll give you a call. That's it. The next thing you'll see here is on the to-do is to launch the ICW. Now, we run a business suite site, so for me to track my agents, they have to launch the ICW. If you're an individual user or a pro user, you do not have to launch the ICW.
What is ICW?
Now, so that's the Internet Contact Wizard that is built into your eEdge website.
Okay.
Okay? Next thing we have is your video email. And that's just a quick video email. I'll send everybody the script. So I'll send it to you, Rick, so you can get it out to everybody, the script for the video email. I mean, it's pretty plain and simple. I've got a copy of it right here on the script. So the script for the video email goes as follows. Hi there. Just want to put a face to a name and let you know I'm a real person and not just some automatic email system. I would love to talk about your potential move and see if I can help you find a great deal. I'm available this weekend. Are you free? And that's it.
Love it. So this is all day one.
Day one.
Okay.
All day one. All right? Now, if you've talked to them, obviously you're not going to send the exact same email. You would say a video email would be like, I just want to say thank you for talking with you today. If there's anything I can do, don't hesitate to give me a call. And that's it. Mm-hmm. 13 seconds, no longer, and in and out.
Yep. Keep it simple.
Yep. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to do a reverse lookup on their information. We need to get information about them. Because when Bob Smith was referred to Sally Agent, and I'm trying to convert him, Bob Smith's friend told Sally Agent that he was moving here from New Jersey. He has 2 kids that he really is excited about, the school system in Greenville. He's going to work for GE, and he's looking for about a $300,000 to $400,000 house. Well, Bob Smith is registered on J Michael Manley's website, and I have none of that information. So now I have to go out there and get it. And we search Pitbull, Jigsaw, Google, Facebook, Twitter. Spokio is another one that we would search, and we gain all this information so that we can use it in conversation. Not that we can come out and say, hey, I found out you had 2 kids on Facebook. That just sounds weird.
Oh, creepy.
That you could call and you could say, hey, I just wanted to touch base with you. I know you're planning on moving to Greenville, or see that you're wanting to move to Greenville. Greenville has some great school systems. Is this something that you're looking for?
Sure.
Well, if they have kids, and we found out that they had kids, we know that that's what they're looking for. Okay, so it hits a trigger button, and it creates a connection point with them. And the next thing is that if they have an email or if they have an actual address in there, we actually send it to our executive assistant so that she can send them a personal note.
Okay.
It just says, hey, thank you for registering on GreaterGreenvilleAreaHomes.com, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we skip day 2. We go down to day 3. In day 3, we have a menu of things that we can actually send. We have 2.0, 2.1, and 2.2. Those are 3 different emails based on what the clients are doing online or what you can send. So you can see 2.0 is a listing alert with no activity, meaning they have not been back to the site. 2.0 is or 2.1 is a listing alert with site activity, meaning they've signed up for a listing alert and they've actually come back to our eEdge website. And listing 2.2 is that they do not have a listing alert.
I want to push time out real fast in day 1.
Okay.
When you do reverse lookup, do you friend request them and follow them on Twitter and do everything there?
They do not.
So they don't know you're creeping on them?
They do not.
Okay. And then also, would this work, obviously maybe not so much for the reverse lookup, with a warm lead? Maybe your lender gave you a lead and you call and then you text and then you video and then you send a handwritten note. Does the same apply? Do you do it for every lead or only for web?
No, we do it for everybody. If they get put into our system, so like if we get a lead from another source, we still do the exact same thing.
So this is any lead conversion checklist?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. Unless it's a sphere of influence. You know, if it's a sphere of influence, meaning I know something about the people,
mm-hmm.
then that's a different story because that's going to seem a little weird.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So day number 5, this is an email. You got 2 options that you can send, and you can send, if they're local, you can send them a CMA request. If they're non-local, you can send them a relocation package. And on that email, so when you're sending them that email, the cool thing is that the relocation email says, hey, I noticed you're moving from Greenville. I noticed you're moving from, let's say, Short Hills, New Jersey. What's bringing you to Greenville? Mm-hmm. And then you can say, then you finish out the email and it's like, I've been to Short Hills, New Jersey, or I know someone from New Jersey, or I've been through New Jersey, or something to build a connection point. Mm-hmm. You know, because you've got to start building a connection point with these people if you're going to convert them. One of my agents was from Chicago. She noticed that a client was coming in from Chicago, so she actually said, hey, I noticed you're moving here from Chicago. Have you ever heard of Frank's Pizza? And she was like, I used to live in Chicago. And they said, yes, we eat at Frank's Pizza all the time. Well, that agent sold them the house.
Right. Because
she built a connection with them.
Built the rapport.
Just because we go online, we think our sales skills go away. They actually need to increase. Mm-hmm. And then you'll see day number 5, this is a first follow-up call. You'll also notice that this is not a call to action call. This is strictly still a customer service call to discuss their listing alert, to make sure that we're sending them the right stuff, or ask if they received the suggested property emails. If not, if we don't hear from them, we leave them a message.
Awesome.
Again, so the wording there is, again, soft touch. Keep in mind, these buyers, I don't know if they think it every night at 12 o'clock we go online and we pull up all the new properties that come on the market and we hand send them these emails. Because when they get the things that they're not looking for, they're blaming us. Mm-hmm. So you need to check backwards and forwards and inside out to make sure, to ensure that you're sending them the right stuff that they're looking for. Mm-hmm. All right, day number 7. Day number 7 is actually a mistake, in all honesty. It happened via a hurdle. Market Leader and our multiple listing service stopped playing nicely. And on our website, you couldn't see any of the foreclosure or short sale feeds. So if it was a foreclosure or short sale, you couldn't see that. And so my agents were like, what do we do? We've been sending these emails that show the foreclosures and short sales. What do we do? I was like, keep sending the email, and if they email you back, just send them something through the MLS saying you apologize, that you forgot to attach it. Send a bunch of emails, and here it is. And it's actually now become our #1 converting email. We have our foreclosure and short sale feedback. However, we don't send any properties attached to that email. And it's amazing how many people contact us back and say, hey, I didn't get any attachments on this email. And, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's important to note, I remember you said this story up at the stage, oftentimes people will give up after one or two contacts, and they hear you, they see you, they're listening, and they're reading your emails, they just don't reply. And it took a week and how many touches for them to actually reply because they needed something.
Yeah, so, they think they're missing out on a deal.
Yeah.
And, they think they're not getting something. And so, when they think, oh, here's a potential deal that I just missed out on. They're sending me a foreclosure list and a short sale list. I need this list. And so they email you back. It's been 7 days and, almost at this point, close to 5 emails. Mm-hmm. And, a couple of phone calls. And now we're just getting an email back because we made a mistake.
Right.
So day number 9 is specific properties. I always tell everybody, make sure you attach the properties this time. Don't make a mistake 2 days in a row.
Sure.
You just look like you don't know what you're doing at that point.
Yep.
Day number 11 is a best buy list. And this is something I encourage everyone to do. Is, whether you're on a team or not, get together with a group of agents in your office and form a Monday morning breakfast meeting. So you got 2 other agents that you're working with, and y'all go to breakfast every Monday morning, and you guys put together the list of the 5 best properties that will not make it till Friday. These are the houses that come on the market on Saturday and Sunday, and you know that they are such a hot property and priced so well that they will not make it to Friday. Now, there's not a buyer out there that would not want access to that list.
Yep. When you're doing day 11, day 9, day 7, is this calendar days? Is this working days? And or as a single agent, are you recommending to log on a Saturday or Sunday if that's the time when you've chosen to have with your family, or do you think this is more work day?
So I always tell all my agents there's always 1 day a week that you have to take off.
Yeah.
God took 1 day a week off. So you got to take 1 day a week off. So I have one buyer's agent that she takes off on Saturday. I have another buyer's agent that she takes off on Sundays. And so they rotate back and forth so that each one of them has a weekend day off to spend with their family.
Your buyer's agents, they're the ones sending these emails. However, you have an email template that's pretty much all they have to do is put the new attachment in there.
Yeah, so when they were sending these emails, we actually had them saved, and let's see, give me just a second here, and I'll log on real quick so you can see how I've got them sorted.
And while you're doing that, everyone out there listening, we are going to do a Q&A afterward once we're done with this. So in the questions section, go ahead and type in what question you have, or if it's a really long question, just say me, and I'll make sure I unmute you so we can do a Q&A, so I'm not the only one getting all my questions answered for you. So start typing those in there if you got something to ask. And I've already got you, Maria, so we'll get you on there first.
So under the admin section of your eEdge website, you have the email section. And as long as you have Pro or Business Suite upgrade, you have the ability to change your message templates. And you can see that we've got our message templates built in here. 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, 3.0, 3.1, so that you can actually pull it up. So we click on it, and you'll notice that here's the email. It's plain text. There's no formatted signature line. There's no pictures. There's no nothing. It looks like we actually went in and typed this message out. And so that's key. There is nothing. There's no pretty pictures. There's no logos. There's no nothing in these emails other than the words. So you'll see here it says, I noticed that you were relocating from blank location. So you'd put in the location there. How would you like a free location package of all the great information about Greenville, South Carolina area? And it includes blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. It says, I, blank, have been through, I am close to, I know someone from, or someone close to their location. Now, I will tell you, I have a virtual assistant that actually runs this now. Mm-hmm. The buyer's agents don't do it any longer. Virtual assistant does it and sends it out as the agent. And so what they do is if they find they're from San Francisco, they go in and Google something about San Francisco and say, oh, how close do you live to the bridge? Or how close do you live to, if you're in Austin, Texas, how close do you live to, the Frost Building, or how close do you live to the Capitol?
Sure.
You know, something like that to help build a rapport with them.
Sure.
And then you always finish it with, I heard great things about that location.
Mm-hmm.
There's no place in America other, you know, that you may not have heard great things about. I mean, even the worst place in America, you probably still heard good things about it.
Sure.
You know? So, and then you just, what brings you to Greenville? So it's just a way to kind of go in there and help build that rapport. Day number 13 is the personal investment email. It says, am I to assume that you're looking for a personal or investment property? Mm-hmm. When you use that word assume, people love to correct you. And so when you go in and say, am I to assume, they're going to email you back and go, no, I'm looking for a personal, or no, I'm looking for an investment.
You know, it's interesting. Both of your highest conversions are both of your mistakes. When you forgot something, when you've assumed.
Yes, I'm telling you.
So quit being so smart, everybody. Just make some mistakes every now and then. You'll get some conversions.
I'm the world's worst for making mistakes. Let me tell you, we stand on failures all the time. So day number 15 is your first call to action call. It says where you're discussing property relevant information. You know, picking a call to action to call them. And I think this call to action is more of a, hey, I've seen that you looked at a property on my website. I showed that property last week. It's a dog. Or, hey, I noticed you haven't been on my website in a while, and you've come back onto my website. You know, something, a call to action call in there. I'll show you today while I was teaching a class. We came in here, and there was a gentleman in our eEdge website. So we come up here and we go to recent contacts online. Everybody with a pro has this. And it shows everybody that's on last 48 hours. If you don't have eEdge Pro, you can force the system based on last activity to do a search on the last activity there for standard eEdge users. And so we were going through here, and there was a gentleman that had registered on our website back in 2011. Where is he?
There he is, 12/23/11. James Turner. There you go.
I think that may be him. So when I clicked on him, and I come up here and I looked, this isn't him. There was another guy. When I looked at him, I started looking and I said, all right, so let's see what's going on. So this guy's been looking at properties for a while. He's viewed listings, so you can see that last listings he's looked at, those kind of things. These are the saved listings. There's another gentleman in here that had came in 2011, and when we got to looking, he came in 2011 and really hadn't been back to the site at all. And so what we got to look at, we was like, what in the world? In September, he's been coming back to the site twice a week. This is it right here. So we look at what their activity is. He's got 3 listing alerts saved, and you can kind of see, look at this activity right here when you look at it. So 2010, 2011, and then bam, from February of 2011, he had not been back to the site. July, he looked once of this year, then September. Look what happens in September. Look at all the houses they've been looking at since September, and then 2010 again today, or 2013 again today.
Yeah. So
something has happened in this guy's personal life. He's getting more active to look for a property. And so now we as an agent need to take notice of that and send him an email. Just say, hey, I noticed you've been coming back to my website more often. Has something changed in your life that you're looking to purchase a house now? Mm-hmm. And using that personal touch. Using that personal touch. All right, so day number 15 is a home buyer's guide. Your eEdge system has a home buyer's guide in it. So just send the personal home buyer's guide there. Day number 17, you got 3 options of emails to send based on what they're doing. Day number 19 is the 3rd follow-up call. This is like a call, sorry, I haven't been able to reach you if you've not reached them yet. Email number 10, you've got 3 options here. You got 10.0, 10.1, and 10.2. And then, sorry, this is a typo here, but the quick question is actually 11.3 based on what they're doing again here. And then you'll notice we skipped 9 days. And then on day number 31, we send, oh, by the way, a referral email. Who do you know that's looking to buy or sell real estate? Then and only then do they go on to the 8x8 campaign. So if they have a listing alert, we set them to an 8x8 campaign then. If they don't have a listing alert, we put them on a 33 touch.
What have you found conversion rate-wise if they don't respond to you and you can't convert them in the first 30 days that you're going to get them afterward?
Pretty strong. The key is you've got to continue to call them.
So when you say 8x8 and 33 touch, you're going in there and obeying the actual 33 touch and making those phone calls.
That's correct.
Okay.
If you're not making the phone calls, you're not making those calls, guys, I mean, you got to make the phone calls. It's so funny, you know, my agents, you know, they'll get overwhelmed, you get a lot of business going, and they won't get to everybody in their system as often as they're supposed to. And what happens is then when they finally start getting caught back up with everybody, inevitably, every time it happens, they'll call me and go, man, I just talked to him 45 days ago, and they've already bought a house.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they've already bought a house.
How do you guys overcome, because this is something that I hear and I also feel, that the 33 touch in there, you go to the dashboard, you go to the reminder, and it tells you that on this day to call people. So all of a sudden, my database of 743 people, I owe a phone call to, which is unrealistic.
Yeah, it is. And so we realize that. And I think the key for us is just to realize that it is unrealistic. And so, you know, up until recently, the system would actually let you sort by, when you came into your contacts, come up here to the dashboard. It used to let you sort all the contacts by the telephone number. You could actually come in here and click telephone number and sort them by the telephone number, and that's what we were doing. We'd just come in here and click, and we'd sort by activity then, and so we had them sorted first by telephone number and then by activity, and we just took them a block at a time, and we would call through all those people in that month, and then we'd call back through all those people in the next month, and we'd call back through all the people in the next month. Well, now the system doesn't quite do that, and my team has actually come up with a way, and I have to apologize. I don't have it. There's one type that's a call me. There's a way to search by the call me's. I'll find that out, and I'll let you know on that, Rick, because when this changed, it took them a couple of weeks to figure it out, how to continue to make sure that they were getting those calls. And so there's now a place to go in and do the call me's. So they can actually, so you can go right here and click search for phone number and then click search. And there's everyone with a telephone number in your system. Right.
So you're breaking down, if you've got 115 people and you can make 35 dials a day, then you'll knock it out in a week.
Yeah, now, and keep in mind, because everybody says, well, I'm not getting any telephone numbers. I'm not getting any telephone numbers. When this is the people, so let's do this. People all take all there. We'll do a search. This is the last 48 hours. So in the last 48 hours, there were 235 people that have logged on and looked at property on my eEdge website. Now, out of those 233 people, let's only search for the ones with telephone numbers. 115. Almost 50% of the people that have logged on our eEdge website in the last 48 hours have a telephone number.
Is that pretty standard for you?
Yes.
Okay.
We find that's across the board.
It's a lot of what you experienced in 2009, hearing 10% and you're only getting 2%, and people who say I'm only getting 50% and then you saying that's okay. It's setting up realistic expectations of saying 2% is good. So how many leads are you creating on a given day? How many people would you say are coming to your site? Have you done some analytics on that?
Yeah, so we have a business suite site. So you can see that in the last 30 days, we've registered 385 registrations on our eEdge website.
So let's talk about that.
So when you, yeah,
that's a lot. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
So here's the analytics, and I actually show you the analytics in the back of my site here. Let's just do the last 30 days. So, in full disclosure, I tell everybody, you know, I do buy 500 pay-per-click ads from Market Leader. That 500 will net me between 35 and 45 registrations a month. You can see in the last 30 days, it's gotten me 29 registrations. That's the $500 worth of pay-per-click. These are ones that are coming through my Keller Williams website. You can see 9 of those are came through .loop. However, the rest of them, look right here. People requesting showing, 17. More listing details, 1. Details showing instructions, 1. People that have saved an IDX search, or people that have wanted to be directly contacted to me. And then these are all through WolfNet and eAgency websites and stuff. Then you open up the big one. This is Market Leader, and this is all the stuff that we do for free. And I say free. Our virtual assistant, this is work. This is all things that we have to do. However, this is what you can see that we've taken 65 Craigslist ads or leads. These are people that are already registered that we sent emails to, but 5,600 people have actually come back to our eEdge website in the last 30 days. They've already registered on our site at least once.
Wow.
Now, here's the big one, search engine optimization. We've taken 127 leads in the last 30 days from search engine optimization.
So, and maybe this is for a different conversation, different day. What is your discipline to increase your SEO?
So, blogging 3 times a week, video, 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 Craigslist ads posted where you're getting titles that have rich SEO content. Just says homes for sale in Greenville or homes for sale in Simpsonville, or none of this funky ad stuff that people aren't going to be searching. Last year when people were searching on Craigslist, they were searching for deals and they were going straight to Craigslist. This year there are not that many deals out there any longer. And so because there's not so many deals out there any longer, they're not going back to Craigslist and searching. They're going to Google and searching, and your Craigslist ad is showing up.
Got it.
And so making sure that your titles are SEO rich. So even if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Malden, home in Malden, South Carolina, that home in Malden is SEO rich. People can Google it.
Yep.
So, and you can see the amount of, that's just Google traffic for there, and then this is individual listing traffic that we've driven in the last 30 days, listing traffic, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's another big one for us, drives a lot of traffic. There's YouTube, search results.
All of this links back to one site?
All this links back to our eEdge website, which is greatergreenvilleareahomes.com.
So because we have the eAgency, which is the one I found, which actually I put on there the demands.
Yeah, that's Demand More Greenville. It's just a site that we have out there that looks pretty. I'll show you that. We just have it look pretty. We had Brandco come in and do some update to make it look nice. We put some video in it. Nothing major on there. It is strictly just a static site. We don't do anything with it. We don't push traffic to it. We don't do much of all.
Okay.
Our eEdge website is where we do, it's the hub of our machine.
What made you choose that? Because this one is very template, is very boxed, versus Brandco is very pretty and sexy. So what was your reasoning behind that? So
Market Leader, I signed up for Market Leader in 2010 before there was eEdge.
Okay.
And so at that point it was Realty Generator. I signed up for it. I was paying $1,500 a month for it. So when eEdge rolled out, and I was like, holy cow, everybody's getting a $15 website that I've been paying $1,500 a month for. So everybody that was paying $15 a month for it, because it had some bugs, it had some glitches in it, they said, it doesn't work. Well, I was paying $1,500 a month for it. And that whole failure is not an option when you're tied into a 12-month contract. Kind of kicks back in there.
You made it work.
You got to make it work, and that's what we did.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that I don't have my personal logo up there. It's the Keller Williams logo. And the reason being is that for 4 months, we tracked this. We would put my logo up, and our registrations would go down. We put the Keller Williams logo back up, and the registrations would go back up. We put my logo back up, and the registrations would go back down.
Well, you're not very good looking, Michael. That's why.
You know, I tell, that's another thing, you know, my videos, when I am not in the videos, they get watched more. So, you know, it is what it is, and that's how we roll.
Awesome. I want to open it up. Anybody who's got some questions out there, and then of course we'll close it because I want to respect everyone's time. We've got about 10 minutes left. I'm going to unmute you, Maria. Are you there on the phone? Can you hear us, Maria?
Hey, hi.
Hi. Now I'm a
Maria,
live disc jockey, so you're on the air. What's up, Maria?
I'm sorry, you caught me drinking water.
That's okay.
So, my question was, what advice do you have for someone due to personal reasons? Real estate is their sole income. How can I build that momentum? Because at the beginning of the conversation, you were talking about how it was your wife and you, but then it was just basically you, and then she joined in.
Right. So the key is, as I tell everybody, you know, we teach in Keller Williams to lead with revenue. And what's the easiest way to generate revenue? And for me, it was on the phone. You got to be willing to get back on the phone. Internet lead generation can be quite expensive. It can be quite time-consuming. And right now, you need listings. If you don't have listings in the pipeline, if you don't have listings coming, you've got to be on the phone. I didn't start internet lead generation right off. I did 10 months worth of hardcore telephone prospecting. I mean, hardcore, just good morning, good morning, good morning, 100 contacts a day or a week. You know, that's what it was. We now have a thing on our system for our listing agents. They have to do 50 dials a day. They don't have to make 50 contacts, but they got to make 50 phone calls a day.
Mm-hmm. Say it enough
just like
times.
Ben Kinney's team.
Say it enough times.
Say it enough times.
So, and I think that's important, Maria, and I muted you again, so if you want to talk, just raise your hand there. It's important to know that what he's done is over long time, cultivation, SEO, being able to afford $1,500 a month. And as a new agent, it's great to farm, it's great to do SEO, it's great to create a blog. However, go knock on a door, go pick up a phone, go talk to people who are ready to buy today, and where can you get an appointment today? And that's where you gain momentum to then think of that long-term picture along with that short-term.
Yeah, so it really did, you know, because the momentum actually came from me making the phone calls. You know, the good morning, good morning, good morning. That's where the momentum came from. At that point, we didn't start the internet lead generation until we had a little bit of profit. And I actually, Gary Keller said it in his mastermind at Mega Camp. He said, when I was making money, I didn't go buy cars and fancy houses. I reinvested it back in the business. And at that point, we were still living with my mother and father-in-law. And to call my wife and say, hey, look, there's a $1,500 a month website here that I think will allow us to hire a buyer's agent and get to the next level, that was a hard phone call to make. It took me 3 days to make it. It was the last day of Mega Camp before I had enough nerve to call her and ask her if I could sign up for this website. And we chose, as a couple, we chose to take that $1,500 a month and invest it back in the business for a faster return later on down the road. But for 10 months, it was from bold January 2010 till September the 28th, 2010, it was, only thing I wanted to do was prospect. That was it. Just get on the phone and call people. I didn't have, my eEdge website or my eAgency website was out there. However, I had not even done anything with it. I didn't even know how to log into it.
Awesome. I've got Bruce Cotting. Bruce, you out there?
Yes, I am.
Bruce, where are you from?
I'm in Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of D.C.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping on. So you had a couple of questions in there.
Hey, Bruce.
I do. Hey, J Michael, always a pleasure to hear you. Appreciate you sharing your knowledge, and especially given the fact that it came from doing it yourself. Quick question for you. Has to do with respect to the dials that you were making and that you're now having your agents do. What was your source for those names and numbers? Any tips on what we can do to generate those lists to call from?
So for me, that was a decision I had to make fairly quickly. I had to find a system. When I first started it back in 2003, I had a broker in charge that told me, you've got to call expireds, you've got to call for sub owners. That's the only way you're going to make it in this business. It's the only way you're going to do it. Don't try to do anything else. Just call expireds and for sub owners. So at that point, there were none of these fancy systems back in 2003, or if there was, I didn't know about it. So I got up every morning. I pulled the hot sheet for all the properties that expired, and I pulled the hot sheet for all the properties that had relisted. I downloaded them into an Excel spreadsheet. I sorted them by the duplicates and deleted the duplicates. And then from there, I went to a whole reference CD and reference checked all the telephone numbers. And then I got on the phone. And I got up every morning at 6:30 and did that. Now, when I started Bold in 2010, there were a lot more fancier systems out there that would do all that for you in a matter of seconds. I was taking hours to do that. And so what I did is I said, I think we're going to have to do, like a Red X product. And so that's what we decided to do. We just decided so that I had enough telephone numbers to call, we were going to do Red X, and I was just going to call from Red X. So we used Red X up until this year. We switched over to Vulcan 7 with an auto dialer this year, and so we've been using Vulcan 7 ever since.
Thank you.
One more, Bruce, your videos?
Yeah, J. Michael, the other question that I had is, so you've been doing videos for a while. Is there a particular style or genre that's driving the most amount of traffic for you? I know that you've focused in the past on neighborhood videos. Any tips that would help along that line?
So on the neighborhood videos, I think those are the coolest, and we've actually now have a person on staff that does videography and our pictures for us for our listings. And so what we've done is, back in the day when we didn't have anybody on staff, I had bought a GoPro camera and the motorsports attachment. I don't know if anybody's heard, it's called a GoPro, G-O-P-R-O camera. You get them at Best Buy. The new GoPro number 3 is out. They had it at Costco the other day for $229. It's got a stabilization already built into it. It's got a wide-angle lens. Go to Best Buy and get a motorsports attachment. It's basically a huge suction cup that suctions it to the car, and just drive through the neighborhood. Turn it on and drive through the neighborhood. And that gave us the video of the drive-through in the neighborhood. And then we just took a camera, put it on a tripod, and panned left, panned right at the amenities, and stuck it all together and pulled it together that way for the subdivisions.
Cool. Thank you very much.
In Google Maps. I love that idea. And GoPro does have a pretty good overall picture in there where it's HD. Nancy Fearon, hold on, I've got to find you and unmute you. Nancy, there? Oh, this is
I'm not on the phone.
I've got you here. Nancy, where are you from?
Boca Raton, Florida.
Awesome. Thanks for being on here. Go
Well,
ahead.
I just wanted to know, I saw that you have a real nice organization for all the emails that you send out, and you have them classified 1.0, 2.0. Are those letters already in Market Leader Pro, or are they something you wrote yourself? And if they are, how can we get a copy of them?
So you're going to get a copy of them. I'm going to email them to Rick, and so everybody that registered is going to get a copy of them. So you will get those. However, they are not automatically in eEdge. If you have eEdge Pro, you just click right here where it says Message Templates. So you go into your dashboard, admin, Message Templates, and then click on New Template, and it will allow you to put them in there. You can just put them in yourself. The naming them the 2.0 keeps them all nice and lined up and everything so that they're all nice and clean.
Right, that's pretty cool. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're about out of time at 6 o'clock. J. Michael, what is one thing I've not asked you that I should have that we could talk about real fast?
Man, that's a powerful question. I've learned to do that on all my screening interviews during Recruit Select process.
I love it.
So I think the big thing is that the key I want everybody to get, or for everybody to leave with today, is that I am no different than any of you guys. I mean, I've seen failure. I've seen, having to live with my mother and father-in-law with my child and new wife. I failed, you know, you're talking to someone that failed the South Carolina exit exam 3 times before they let me graduate in South Carolina, one of the worst education systems in all of America. I'm not the smartest person out there by any means. However, I go back to the Will Smith video that says, you know, I may not be the smartest, I may not be the most talented person, but you put me and you beside each other on a treadmill and I will either die or beat you. And that is the mentality that you guys have to have when you're building something that you've got to go out there. Failure is not an option. Do not allow yourself to fail on your goals. Do not allow yourself, you know, right now we're in a situation where, you know, my listing agents aren't taking enough listings. So at a week and a half, tomorrow, if they have not taken all their listings, guess who gets to go back in there and get on the phones? Me, tomorrow. Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Michael Manley, Keller Williams Realty. Can I help get your home sold? Great, fantastic, wonderful. You'd be offended if I just come out and take a look. Wouldn't be a good time for you. You got a 1:30, 3:30, 5:30 appointment. That's what I have to do. Do not allow yourself to fail on your goals. Failure is not an option. Chaos is going to come. Hurdles are going to come. Keep the mindset moving forward. It's a powerful, powerful thing.
Love it. I love it. You've been fantastic, and I, with your permission, would love to get you back on and really dive into that video aspect because that's really the wave of the future. You've already got it. Mastery is a big word, however, well on its way to mastery. And
well, definitely, I'd say we're in momentum, or at least or getting ready to move into, you know, maybe a little higher than that.
Yep. Have you looked into KW Video at all?
We have. JP Lewis and those guys do an awesome, awesome job. And I think they've got some great, great stuff for people. The KW video stuff. We have not done it just because we have our own guy that we've been doing our own stuff with right now. However, the graphics part of that is huge. That's in the KW video, and that part is, I think, really, really slick and really, really cool when people are watching those videos. Is that those graphics?
Yep, I agree with that. Okay, well, J Michael, you're obviously a rock star, and I appreciate you jumping on here. Next week, let everybody know, and you as yourself, we're going to have Lori Ballin on, and if you guys follow J Michael through some social media, then Lori, obviously, you know of her as well. We're really going to go in more of how she's creating the SEO, because that's where she specializes, is of how do we drive people to that traffic. So maybe a little more in depth of what J Michael's already doing through Craigslist and AdWords and everything else. So next week, Lori will be on, and I also record this. It's going to be on my YouTube page. You'll see a little link there. You'll see some past interviews I've done with some of the OPs and brokers here in Florida. So if you want to make this just part of your weekly ritual like church, I'd love for you to be on there and tell your friends, so you can check it out at bosleyrick.com.
One thing on that real quick,
Yep.
Lori Ballin is going to be on fire next week. She has been on a hardcore SEO push for her subdivision in Las Vegas. I just seen a post from her earlier today that she spent the last 3 weeks, and out of her search terms that she wants to rank for, she's ranking for all of them either on the first or second page and moving to the first page on all of them very, very quickly. And she has pushed that in a matter of 3 weeks.
Wow.
So she's gonna have some tremendous knowledge there for you next week.
Okay, can't wait. All right, guys, thanks again. Thanks for jumping on here, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday night. J Michael, thanks again, bud.
Yeah, man, not a problem.
Take care. Bye.
Have a good one.